How is everybody? I am Mary Walter, and that handsome man right there is Lieutenant Colonel Tony Shaffer. How are you, Tony? It's good to see you.
Hey, Mary, good to be here. Thank you for having me. It's been a while since I've been on with you.
I know because you've been very busy. You're always on Newsmax, so you always turn me down, which is fine. I totally understand. It's okay. You're in
Well,
love
they
with
have the
another.
they have the priority for any number of reasons. So no
Yes.
offense. Between you and John Bachman, just saying. John's a nice guy.
He is much more handsome than I, so I get it. I
No,
understand.
I no, I no. John would definitely disagree with that, as do I.
So everybody, welcome to the show. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the channel. We appreciate it. Also, please like the podcast. So I noticed something really weird. There is like a steady. We'll get 95 views on Twitter, let's say, just using a number, and a lot of them come in later, which I get. Oh, okay, cat on my lap. Oh,
I
this is
shut my
great.
doors to make sure I don't have Mr. Buggles come in and bug me. My big cat,
It,
black cat. So.
There's no door on this room, so here she is. This is Grace. Um, but there's like a steady 7 likes every single time. Like every video is 7 likes. So I'm not quite sure what that is, but my hunch is I suspect it's the same 7 people every time. So if you could please like the videos, we would really appreciate it. The audio will be available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify about an hour or so after we're done here. And this isn't going to be a super long podcast because it's Super Tuesday. So we were originally going to do this last Tuesday because Tony and I got to speak at CPAC.
Right.
And we're like, yeah, let's do a CPAC roundup. And we're going to do CPAC roundup. But my CPAC roundup was I got the CPAC plague and I was sick last weekend. So,
Elderberries,
you
elderberry
know,
supplements. That's what I do.
usually everybody gets it. I know one other person who got it. I don't understand. And I still, yesterday, I was still not feeling right. It's crazy. Still not feeling well. I
So,
actually ate today, so that was good.
well, I got to go to a victory party as soon as we're done with the broadcast. Just saying. So, one of the candidates I'm supporting, I'm pretty sure won. I hope anyway. We'll see
Oh,
here
good. Oh,
in
good. All right.
15 minutes. So,
I'm looking for just some updates here. Presidential races. Of course, Trump is winning. Let's see. And they only have Virginia. Vermont has 2% of the estimated votes counted, and Virginia has 4. So we have a ways to go, obviously. But like I said, we're not going to make this super long. Let's get to some of the comments. If you would like to leave comments, you may do so. If you leave any comments on Getter, I will have to read them out loud. But if you're leaving your comments on YouTube, we can do this. Ron, greetings to
wow.
all you cats and kitties. Yes. This one hears me talk and she has to come down immediately. Like she has to be on my lap because she thinks she's missing something. So she has to be part of the conversation. Thank goodness she's only like 6 pounds. Scott, Shrew made it here just in time. Thanks goodness the soothing. Made it here just in time. Thank goodness the soothing music is playing. Yes, our porn show
I was
music.
hoping for the Doors myself, but what do I know? So,
I can't use any of it. This is the music
I
I can
know. I know.
use and not get dinged for.
No, I know.
I
So
have,
that's why we have my friend rock and roll star, Cherie Curry, do our music. She actually gave us one of our shows for my radio show. So
oh, well,
So
look
she
at
was
you.
Sheree, if you're listening, hey, thank you again for giving
No
us
one likes to show
good
off.
music. No, you,
Bill
you like
said,
Sheree. You need to meet her. Meet her. Sheree's cool.
I'm
You'd
sure I
like her.
would. Bill wants to know what happened to James. That's a great question. I don't know what happened to James. I stopped asking him if he was coming on the show because he just never responded. So I don't know.
James Rosen? No, not
No,
James Rosen.
no, James, my work husband, is gone. He's
Oh,
disappeared. So I have no idea where he is. But him not telling me or not having any accountability is pretty much right up his alley, and not telling me at all, like, hey, I can't do it anymore or something like that. That's just
so
ghosting
does he
me.
work for the
Is
Biden White House? It's like the same thing.
Yes, exactly. It's a good analogy. Scott says my guess is James is on sabbatical or something. Barry, hi Mary, why you bugging? Super Mary on Super Tuesday. Now Tax USA is weighing in. By the way, visit their website. They've got some great T-shirts for sale. They're really actually nice. He quit because Mary refused to install gender-neutral bathrooms.
That could be.
That's why James left.
I got to tell you, Mary, I don't know of a single woman who wants to go into male bathrooms. I'm just saying.
Okay. I have in moments when the line was super long on the women's side, and I was at a concert, and so we just took over the men's bathroom. I was like, I'm coming in, just
Now,
going.
how come you guys have like couches and like tasty freeze dispensers? I don't. Why do you guys have those in your bathrooms? I don't understand.
Who's got that in their bed? We don't have that. No,
I don't
and
know.
men
Some of
have.
the
We've got like tampon dispensers, and men have them in their bathrooms now too. And when I back
that's
in the
true.
day, I'm old enough to remember when you had to pay for that stuff. Now it's all free apparently. Because now men, once they started putting it in men's bathrooms, it suddenly became free. When it was just in women's bathrooms, the women had to pay for it. But now that they're putting it in the men's bathrooms, now it's free.
It's because they're trying to recruit us. That's why.
That's how we're going to do it with our
It's
free
incentives,
tampons.
incentivization. Yeah. If you
Uh,
come to the other side, we'll give you free tampons. That's a big incentive to have your thing removed. Just saying.
Now
I
Tax
thought it's
USA
like,
says,
man, I don't know. Changing gender and getting free tampons. That's quite the tempting offer. I don't know. How does anyone
listen,
turn that down?
that stuff ain't cheap. And I remember having used to have to carry it to school class with you, school, and now because men need them all of a sudden. Now, once men need them, then it's free.
Well,
Mm,
tampons are good. No, by the way, tampons actually do serve a military purpose. I don't know if you
they
knew
do.
this, but in
I
combat,
do.
we do carry tampons, and if you get shot, you put it in the wound and it expands and seals the wound. Just saying. So there is
Yep.
a practical reason. And I guess in New York City too. New York City, I could see that too. Yeah.
Or DC or any of your
DC.
finer American cities.
That's right. So it's useful. Maybe, and by the way, to think about the geography of this, those tampons are going into all those places. So maybe there's a correlation.
Maybe that's what's happening.
Yeah.
Now Text USA says Super Tuesday with Super Tony.
Hey, good to see you all.
Gregory, the show is going cattywampus. Yes, it is.
I love that word. I use it on the air all the time.
It's a Southern word, isn't it?
It is. So
It's a
I
Southern
remember
word.
I learned as a kid in Texas. I went to sixth grade in Texas, San Antonio, and I think that's where I picked it up, cattywampus.
I've also
So
heard kittywampus too.
never heard of
Um,
kittywampus.
yeah, but it's definitely a Southern word. The first time I heard it was South Carolina. Somebody said something about it being kittywampus. I'm like, what the hell did they just say? I have no idea what the hell this person's talking about. And I thought it meant like catty cornered, like that's what I thought it meant.
Yeah.
But the way Gregory used it, it means like fracacta, as we like to say here
Yeah.
in the north. It's
That's why I use it.
fracacta. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, there
Ukraine.
must be a time delay for
Cattywampus.
7 seconds. Yeah. Tony tells us the truth. You at Mar-a-Lago? I gave my invitation to a. He says he gave his invitation to a friend for the victory party.
I'm not at Mar-a-Lago. I'm not supposed to be down there till next month if I go at all. Just saying. So if there's a victory night, I'll definitely be down at Mar-a-Lago next month.
Oh, fine. If you need a date, let me know.
So
Um,
well, it's politics. So we'll
I
see.
know it's I know it's politics. Isaac says, very well true. The best. I'm jealous of your husband. All I can hope for is to find someone like you. Ah, aren't you
Oh, that's so cute.
sweet? So
And she's got
nice.
great houses too. So you need to get a girl with a great house on the beach.
Yeah, this house needs a lot of work. Let me tell you, it is raining, and I'm just like, we're constantly with leaks. Constantly. I'm just like, oh, I gotta repaint that wall now. Oh, I hate it. It's so annoying. Work never ends. I need someone who's handy. Um, okay. So Scott's got a problem with the connection, saying that it's buffering. If that's happening to anybody else, let me know. Barry says, did you live here in Texas and Georgia? Police can arrest illegal blood sucking sleaze. More states need this.
Well, when I was going to high school, I mean junior high and middle school in Texas, we didn't have those problems. It was 1976, so it's been a while since I
Yeah,
had
or
that.
is he calling you blood sucking sleaze?
That could be, and I have been. I at some points in my life did do that. I mean, I'm a spy, so we do everything. So,
That's right. He clarified here and said, police can arrest illegal aliens. Go po. More states need this. Um, so yeah. So let's talk. So Super Tuesday. One of the things I wanted to
yeah.
talk to you about, Tony, is we found out today that Michelle Obama has come out and said she's not going to jump into the race. Now, Dan Bongino's been saying that all along, and I've been telling Dan he's wrong. I owe Dan an apology because she says she's not going. But I still think there's time for shenanigans afoot with the Democrats. I can't believe Biden's going to be the nominee. I something doesn't smell right to me. What say you?
I think unless he dies, he's the man. And literally, I
Really?
think yeah, I do. The one thing I've learned about the progressives, not even Democrats, because, you and I have friends who are Democrats, and I think they're still rational people for the most part. I try to parse Democrats and some of the blue dog Democrats and progressives. Progressives are in charge. Biden's a progressive. And oh, by the way, not Merritt Manilow, Obama. That's the guy. Uh, I think it's all about Barry. There should be a movie about that. We should do a movie about all about Barry. Wouldn't that be
Yeah.
great?
Yeah.
And like a nice soundtrack, a little kind of funky soundtrack, like the from the Cosby Kids. That would be a great soundtrack. Just saying. But anyway, no, I think Obama. This is where I think people get it wrong on our side. They aren't failing. They're doing everything they've set out to do, and Biden is perfectly happy being the conduit to do it.
Yep.
And they
Yep.
use his stumbling and bumbling as an excuse. Like, who believes for a minute that Joe Biden doesn't have the authority to close the border? Oh, I can't close the border. I need someone in Congress to tell me how to do it. Come on, you and I both know they removed those 60 plus executive orders from Trump. My friend Sergio de la Pena, the former Undersecretary of Defense for Western Hemisphere, helped establish the remain in place policy in Mexico with the State Department. It was effective. So no, all this stuff that they keep bemoaning, it's like they created. And so why would anybody want to change the agent of chaos known as Biden when he's doing what they want him to do? We don't want him to do stuff. We keep complaining, but I'm just telling you, they're perfectly happy, I think.
Didn't Obama say if he could get someone to just let him have a third
Yeah.
term, they would just be the face of it? He'd be more than happy to be behind the scenes if he could get a third term.
That's why Valerie Jarrett and
Yes. Susan
Susan
Rice.
Rice are senior advisors over there every day.
Yep.
I've seen back behind the scenes pictures. Literally, if you look in the West Wing, if you carefully look at some of the photos, they're always there in the background doing stuff. So
Yep.
pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
So, but here's the thing: the fact that here now Tax USA says Obamas are keeping their heads low. Obama has not been called to testify yet in the Biden hearings. So here's my thing. So this says to me that they honestly think that they can somehow maneuver the election so that Biden wins.
So yes and no. I think yesterday the Supreme Court 9-0 decision shut down their primary vectors, Mary, which was election interference. They wanted to have some indictment or some mass removal of him off the ballot. And think about it this way: if they got him off the ballot for the primaries, that means he'd be off the ballot for the general. And the idea
Right.
is to basically deprive him of major states like Wisconsin, Michigan, the ones that really matter. Colorado, kinda, but no. I mean, Michigan, they wanted to get him off of, and Wisconsin, because without those, the chances are pretty grim. And I think that's what they were counting on. Well, I think the Supreme Court saw it and just said basically, no, you're not going to do this. So I think now they're going to go to Plan B, which is, as you saw, Attorney General, what's his name, the guy with the white hair and the bad attitude in front of the black
Jack Smith.
churches. No, the Attorney General. Merrick Garland.
Merrick Garland. Yeah.
Merrick Garland said 2 days ago in a Southern church, I think in Georgia, oh, we need to remove all these these racist restrictions of actually having to show your ID, and
Right.
and I think they're trying to reopen that as their primary go-to method. And then today, I live in North Carolina. I had to go vote, and I pulled out my ID. Was happy to present it to them. And I'm just going to say this. I don't get in trouble. The NAACP chairman for the county, the local chapter, she was one of the election watchers. Miss White, she's a wonderful human being. Everybody was getting to vote. There was no issues that I could see. Everybody who wanted to vote could vote. So I think
I was just going to say that the premise that voter ID is racist because Black people are incapable of obtaining an ID is
I think it's racist
racist, right?
that.
It's the racist thing ever.
Yeah.
well, not the racist thing ever, but it's right up there, right? To assume they're incapable, right? But the same
Yeah.
people who tell you that that's racist have no problem putting the same impediment, an ID, and money, copious amounts of money that you have to pay in order to exercise your Second Amendment rights.
Oh, absolutely.
So if you're a black family living in inner city Chicago and you're a father who wants to protect his home, according to the Democrats, well, he doesn't have an ID, so he can't legally get a gun to protect his home because he's not capable enough.
Right.
And they have no problem with putting, you have to pay to get fingerprints, and you have to pay for the applications and all these other things. They have no problem putting fees in the way of the Second
Of
Amendment,
course. So
but
it's when
they want a free for all for the 15th.
you should. So a few years ago, I was at a Washington Nationals game, Wright State University, my alma mater. We were all having a Wright State University night, and one of my flaming liberal colleagues was sitting next to me. And I knew her, I've known her since college, since we graduated in 86. And she looks over at me because, it's about a lot of chaos. And she looks over and says, well, Tony, aren't you worried about all my black friends are getting guns? Aren't you worried about that? It's like, no, why would you worry about that? I'm serious. I mean, I was like, what? What are you saying? And that's
Did
my
you say
point. The progressives are the most, can I say this, racist people I know within the political constructs of our system, because they're always demeaning those they either don't agree with or believe are below them. I'm just telling you like it is.
yep. Oh,
And I was shocked. It's like,
let
no,
me
I'm
ask you a
not.
question. Is
I
she
would
is
help
she
them.
s- is she single?
Yes, she was a cat lady, I think.
See,
No offense to cats.
white
I like cats.
lib single white liberal women are the scourge of this country. They
Yeah.
truly are. They really truly are. White liberal women are bad enough, but if they're single, they 9 times out of 10 hate men, because they're either divorced or nobody would marry them. And because they're miserable, horrible people. They're just miserable. Nothing's right. Everything's wrong. They're joyless. They suck the fun out of everything.
Yeah.
Who the hell wants to marry something like that, right? Like they get up in the morning and before their feet hit the ground, something's wrong. Something's
Yeah.
terrible. There's some
Yeah.
injustice that's happening, because the toothpaste comes in a red tube instead of a blue one, whatever. So, oh, geez. Hold on a second.
Uh-oh.
Grace, she's licking her butt and she's moving stuff. She just
Well,
moved this big light on a stick just went like this.
that's
And
good.
I'm like,
We're
ah!
not talking about liberal women, are we now, right?
No,
We
no, we're not
we
talking
separated.
about.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah,
Thank
but you know
God.
what? Yeah, well, that could go either way. But they're just miserable, horrible people. And I'm so glad that they dye their hair like pink and purple and green and everything else, because then when I see them in the wild, I just avoid them. You know what I mean? Like I know what that is. I
Yeah.
know that you're a horrible, miserable person. I'm avoiding it.
Well, I find
So
it interesting. They're always promoting acceptance and tolerance. And it's
yes.
like, you people
Ah,
are the most intolerant people I've ever met.
I know.
I mean, it's like
I
nuts.
know.
It's like, oh my
But
God.
it's sad because they don't see it, because they live in a very homogenous group, right? Like they only hang out with other male hating,
Yeah.
liberal, miserable women. and
Yeah.
and that's their whole life, and they're just going to grow old together, and they're like the
It's fine.
antithesis
They
of
can
the
do that.
Golden Girls. No, that's
Yeah.
fine. But the Golden Girls were fun, and you wanted to hang out with them, like
Right.
those women. Oh, who just horrific, absolutely horrific. All right, now Tax USA says, I
By the
think the
way, you'll
hail.
never be going on MSNBC again after saying that. Just saying.
I've been on MSBC, and
And
actually they
no,
were quite nice. But no, they don't want a differing opinion. So you're right. All right. So now Tax USA says, I think the Hail Mary, not you, strategy will be Biden resigns and Harris becomes the first woman president. Biden gets pardoned. How do they get Harris elected? How? How?
well, I don't think anybody wants Harris. I don't think even Obama wants Harris. I think he's shown to be a complete disappointment. I mean, she shelters herself behind her staff. She's constantly trying to, everything I've read. I don't have inside information. If anybody's saying, "Oh, I don't know," but I do read a lot and I watch a lot of information from sources I do believe to be true. And everything I've seen and heard indicate that Harris is even an internal train wreck. Nobody wants to deal with her because
No.
she's so prickly. Speaking
Yeah,
of,
she's
she's married too, so I can only imagine what her husband's life is.
yeah, I don't, married, never know
Do
what
you
goes on
know?
behind closed doors. Who
Do you know
knows?
Do you know Willie Brown? We should have him on the show.
Oh, you mean the
I'm
man who
sure he's
gave her
got
her
some great
start?
Camilla stories. Yeah.
The guy who gave her
Hey,
her start?
Mayor, do you know anything about
Gregory says, I say a prayer of thanksgiving every day because that Garland fellow was stopped from becoming a judge on the
Oh yeah,
Supreme Court. As
that's
much
true.
as I can't stand Mitch McConnell, I thank him for that.
Yeah. You have to
So,
understand some of the swamp creatures will protect their own little fiefdom from swamp creatures that think are stupid. Just saying. I think, you know, it's like Bill Barr. I've talked about Bill Barr. Bill Barr was a Bush guy and he protected the FBI and the DOJ. That's his job. And so anything beyond that, no, they're not going to do it. So
yeah. Let's see. PT here says liberals are like communists. They accuse you of what they are doing themselves. They
yes,
definitely do. 100%.
Marxists. They're all Marxists.
Yeah. Squeaky says at least they have the hair color code warning. Yes.
That's right. It's like poisonous snakes. Look for the head and the color. And you can
They're
tell there's a
always the
viper.
prettiest ones, right? They're always the like the most
Viper.
but aren't they always like snake? Because I am not a fan at all of snakes. Mm-mm-mm. Nope, nope, no arms, no legs, and sorry, nope. But aren't like the ones that are real more brightly colored the ones that are the ones that are going to kill you?
Copperheads, coral snakes. Well, there's some dark ones too. The black mamba is the most deadly snake on the planet. It's black, but it sticks out because it runs around and does things. So, and the cobras are pretty, and they got that
Well, I
big
know
old
what
hook.
they are. There's the ones that are up like
Yeah,
this, like they're the
yeah.
ones that are like,
I've
yeah.
seen
But
liberal women do that too. And by the way, if they get big enough, they do kind of become like a single like piece, like
that's true. They blob. They don't have waists. They
yeah.
they become like blobs.
From the ankles up, it's like one V-shaped flesh thing.
Yeah.
Snake-like in its nature.
Oh my God, we're being so bad.
I'm going to get in so much trouble.
No, we're not. No, we're not. We could do whatever we want. Here's the other thing I wanted to ask you about. Do you know anything? And I've been looking for it.
Yeah.
Trump is projected to win the Virginia primary. That'll be the first one in tonight.
Good.
It's only 29.7%. So basically 30% of the precincts are in, and he's at 63.8%. So
you didn't bring up the amazing victory of Nikki Haley in Washington, D.C. I can't believe you skipped over that.
Yeah, that is a good point, and that is definitely my error on that. So
did you see they took and made a meme out of my post on it. I said Nikki Haley winning Washington is like Satan winning Sodom and Gomorrah. Just saying.
Yeah. Was that you? That's hilarious. I saw that.
That's my
yeah,
meme.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
I
saw that. That's hilarious. But let me. I just quickly want to go back to before we move. I have another question. We're going to bounce back and forth. Polls are closing in Alabama, Maine, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas at 8:00. But okay, so this whole thing with Michelle Obama. Here's what I think is good. This is what frightens me, and maybe I'm wrong here, but there doesn't seem to be a plan B. Their plan B is just we're just going to have anybody vote, right? We're just going to have anybody vote, so they're going to cheat. I think you're going to see the ballot harvesting. I think that this time around, the cheating is going to be it was egregious last time. It was in your face last time. What was that, Detroit, where they put the stuff up on the window so people couldn't watch?
That was where they dumped the ballots I was tracking in Detroit, in Philadelphia.
Philadelphia, they also threw the Republican poll watchers out too. Yep. Right. Yep. And I think we're going to see the ballots come in for days and days and days and days and days. And they're going to be 100% of them were for Biden. Whoa, look what happened. But I don't think they're going to even pretend that this time around. I think the censorship will be the same, except on X. Now you have X where you can say certain things and you can ask questions. You weren't even allowed to ask questions last time around. Yeah. But what scares me is that the cheating is going to have to be so egregious in order to get Biden in. It's going to have to be so blatant. But we're at a point in our history where they don't care if you see it happening. That's a dangerous place because at that point they don't care. The power grab is done. They got the power. They're going to get if they get the House, it's done. They blow up the Supreme Court. They're going to preserve democracy by blowing up all of the institutions and blowing democracy up.
Yeah.
And they don't care. And they'll shut you down and they'll put you in jail and they'll raid your home. Because you said something on social media that they didn't like, and you're an insurrectionist, and that's that. So that scares me that they honestly think they can pull this off with Joe Biden running.
Well, they are starting right now to strategically move their pieces on the chessboard. I think
Yes.
What you're saying is absolutely correct. So one of the most, I think, blatant in-your-face things they did to start battening down the hatches, they have to control the media, Mary. They have to control the mainstream media. So one of the people they cached was Catherine Herridge, because Catherine, as you know, was dogged on the Hunter Biden thing. And there's been all sorts of drama about that. And full disclosure, I know Catherine. She and I are friends. We have spoken. I can't go into everything we've talked about. And I'm not saying she told me this. This is my theory. This is my theory of why they got rid of her. And I think they got rid of her because she'd been the one person in the mainstream media who was tracking and actually unearthing the reality of the Hunter Biden hard drive and doing. And she was, I don't know this. Don't be saying, oh, he knows this. I believe she was probably prepared to do a lot more. And I think that's one of the reasons they got rid of her. And then they're going to start doing more and more overt acts, as Mary's saying, to try to get people to understand that they're really going to do what's necessary to win. And they've said it. If you go, I actually listen to NPR. Do you ever listen to NPR, Mary?
I love NPR. I love it.
Oh my God.
It is the best entertainment ever.
They need to put a warning on there because my eyes are rolling so much. I'm almost rolling off the road. It's like, oh my God, what? I mean, they live. Talk about cat ladies and people who are like shaped like a plum, a peach or plum or whatever. Listen, they run NPR. And I mean, I'm listening to this stuff. I've got a degree in environmental studies, and you would not believe the wacky stuff they say about, CO2. CO2 is freaking plant food, for God's sake. If we don't have CO2, we don't eat. There's no plants. I mean,
we heard we heard a very interesting conversation like on ferns, right? Like about ferns. It's just like, and there's just a certain sound to NPR that it's NPR. Like they have a weird sound to all of their say. I adore it because it cracks me up every time.
I'm Hugh Big Shelter, and I'm here to talk to you about the very important issue of ferns and how they impact on the lesbian and gay and lesbian community. Miss Walters, can you tell us about your experience with ferns in the LGBTQ lounge of the Harvard faculty room, please? And then you go on and dribble. I was like, well, those ferns, I think they are pro-Trump, and I had them removed immediately when I walked into the faculty lounge. Can you tell us what alerted you first? Well, they smelled of elderberries. Really? Well, are you saying that President Trump smells like elderberries? Oh no, I would never say that. I would never say that. But that's the stream of consciousness you get on NPR. I swear to God.
I know. It's awesome. It is fantastic. I'm telling you, if you're ever bored, flip through the dial and you can find NPR immediately just by the sound. You can find it. And sometimes you actually hit radio gold with NPR. You really, truly do. And you're paying for it, so you might as well enjoy it. Let's see.
But my point being, Mary, to your point, is that there's a whole ecosystem on the left that lives in a completely different universe than we do. I mean, it's like not even the same planet. And in their world, they have said over and over on NPR, MSNBC, CNN, Jake Tapper. I was listening to old Jakey Poo the other night about, this 9-0 ruling. Oh my God, this jeopardizes the very foundations of our. It's like, what? Did you bother to read the fine print of the 14th Amendment, which even Mr. Dershowitz did? It's like Dershowitz has been saying they didn't read the fine print. It's like it says you can't invoke insurrection unless Congress actually does something to implement a framework to spell out what insurrection is, what are the penalties for insurrection, how do you define the penalties based on the acts, what are the acts exactly? Yeah, those things are all missing. You just can't say,
Yeah,
He's guilty of insurrection. Remove him. Take him away.
yeah.
Off with his head.
They thought it was okay for one judge somewhere in Colorado who was, I believe, a traffic court judge, right? Wasn't
Yeah.
she a traffic court
Yeah.
judge?
Yeah, she was.
And
She is.
yes, traffic court judge. And so she said, yeah, he committed insurrection. And so he's guilty. But wait, he hasn't been charged. Like, don't you
Yeah.
have to be, if someone's going to charge you with a crime and find you guilty of a crime, to find you guilty of a crime, don't you have to be
But
charged with the
that's my
crime
point.
first? And doesn't there have to be some kind of adjudication? Or the judge just says guilty off of it, like you said, off of his head.
So, and that's my point, is that on CNN and MSNBC, and I was watching this with great glee, they all forecast, oh, it's done. He's done. And that goes back to the point of what you're talking about, Mary. They counted on the Supreme Court backing up their lunacy, saying, oh, yeah, he's done. And that was going to remove basically Trump. And that was where they're going to kick Nikki Haley. That's why Nikki Haley's been holding on. I'm telling you right now, the theory of approach for Nikki Haley was she'll be the last neocon standing. And acceptable to the mono party, which kind of the political class. That's what was going on, and I think it's all in shambles now because of the Supreme Court.
Well, yeah, and of course you got Jamie Raskin running off now to say, well, we're gonna find a way to keep him off.
I miss his gang colors. I do. Why doesn't he put those gang colors on permanently? I don't understand why he didn't. He looks better with the bandana on. I'm just.
Do you think so? Well, his hair's grown back. His hair's grown back, so that's why
he's still better off with the bandana. Just saying.
Better look. Okay, where are we? Squeaky says, at least. Oh wait, why is that playing? Okay, I don't know why that's playing. At least they have their hair color code warning. All right, we got that. All right.
Yeah.
Lamar 546 says, "Hey, you guys, you're awesome. 100%. The Queen, can you do a punch like boxing? Thank you." I took karate, but you don't punch like you do in boxing. You punch, it's a more efficient punch. It's a more waist level efficient punch. But I'm not quite sure what that's about, or if that's like some kind of weird fantasy thing going on there.
That's the first thing that came to mind when I said, really? Is there anything to do with what t-shirts involved as well or something?
Oh God, I'm too old for that. What are you kidding me?
No,
yes, I am. Nikki Haley, I won't have to lift my t-shirt up. I'll just lift up my jeans and down by my knees.
Look, we're all getting old. I'm worried about my neck growing where it shouldn't be growing right now. Trust me on that.
So. Scott says, Nikki Haley said she was glad. The Supreme Court said they cannot remove arbitrarily someone from the ballot, that we did not need to be doing that. This is democracy. This is America. Yeah, Nikki Haley, to her credit, did say that she was glad that the Supreme Court ruled the way that they did. So I give her that. PT says NPR, National Panhandler Radio.
Yeah, our friend Chris always calls it that. Chris
Plant.
Chris Plant.
Gregory says, I had to quit listening to NPR. My wife couldn't handle me screaming at the radio.
I feel your pain.
No, it's hilarious.
I think that's so. Let me tell you. Mary, I don't know if you knew this. Let me see if the audience knows. The Decipher, the Rosetta Stone for NPR, is a TV series called Portlandia. If you watch Portlandia, and it will give you an understanding of the liberal hive mind. I swear to God. Have you seen it before?
No,
Fred Armiston and Carrie
No.
Brown. Oh my God.
I haven't seen it.
You need to check it out. I'm just take my word. Take it to the
All
bank.
right.
Somebody's recommending Portlandia. Go look it up. It's
Portlandia.
on Pluto TV. It's free. And I'm just telling you, if you want to understand it ran from like 2014 to 2017. Kyle MacLachlan plays the mayor. Oh, it's hilarious.
But
I'm just telling you.
Do they mock like Portland and that mindset?
So
it is.
So the answer is yes, and it's so funny. The liberals they couldn't figure out they're being mocked until like 3 years into the series. Like, oh my God, they're making fun of us. And there's a big protest. Like, no, it's like, we've been making fun of you for 3 years. How did you not see that? No, I swear to God. I swear.
All right, now I gotta watch it. I'm putting it on my
Portlandia.
list. Hold on.
Oh my God, you'll love it.
I'm putting it on my list.
It's like the Rosetta Stone for NPR. Once you watch Portlandia, it's like, oh, I get it now. And then you have a sense of humor because it all makes sense on NPR. You understand where these people are coming from. Seriously.
Portlandia.
And Kyle MacLachlan is great as the mayor. Okay. He is hilarious.
All right, I got it. All right, so Isaac says, wrong, Tony Shaffer. They sound more like they're inside a tunnel.
Well, I can't do a tunnel here, but yes.
Right, exactly.
or hello. This is from the fifth floor of the
There
Rockefeller
you
Center.
go. There you go.
We are now going to interview the Ferns who have turned to Trump for help. Mr. Fern, can you tell me when the president molested you last? Really? Was it by his hands or feet?
So things like that.
Ew, 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 ew. Ew. Now Tax USA says, oh God, how does the president do insurrection on himself? He was the president.
I know. I said this. I tweeted on this. Like, dude, he's in charge. He can't be insurrecting against his own government. It doesn't work.
Scott says so the president could step down from being president, sign something saying 25th Amendment, then have the vice president pardon him, tear up the 25th Amendment signed document. I don't understand. Like,
I
what
don't
would
know
that
about
do? President
25th Amendment's for the staff to go after him.
Right.
He doesn't have to invoke the 25th Amendment. He can do the Richard Nixon thing. Just get on the helicopter and put the victory signs up.
Adios. Gregory, who wore the bandana better, Raskin or Stevie Van Zandt? I cannot.
Definitely.
I don't ever remember seeing little Steve
I
without
do.
the bandana. Do you?
Yeah. No, I mean, I never seen without
Miami
it.
Steve without the bandana? Never
No.
seen. No.
But it's definitely Van Zandt. It's not Raskin. I think helps because it covers his big brain, which is always trying to outgrow his head. Just saying. I mean, come on. Jamie Raskin has the biggest brain of the Dr. Fauci class. I think bigger than Dr. Gardenome himself.
Okay, pictures of Steve Van Zandt without the bandana. They do exist.
Wow.
Yeah, but I got to tell you, there's a picture of him with big sideburns, and he was balding. He's got that the guy who was head of the band from the David Letterman show, Paul Shaffer. Paul Shaffer. He's kind of got like that Paul Shaffer thing going on, but he's got big, thick sideburns, so it's got to be pretty old. And then there's one of him. It looks like blonde hair. There's a side by side of Jamie Raskin and Steve Van Zandt, side by side.
Great minds.
Jamie Raskin thanks Steve Van Zandt for sending headscarves during chemo.
There you go. See, there's a relationship.
You go. Look at that. Gregory, did you know that, Gregory? Did you know that? He must have known.
By the way, Mary, did Hamas send Jamie Raskin any jihad headscarves for his war?
Oh, yeah. They're very popular right now.
They are.
They're all the rage.
If you want to be a jihadi, they are.
There you go. What do you think of Kristen Sinema saying she's not gonna run for re-election?
I think she's kind of cool. I'm just saying, out of all the liberals I've seen, and she kind of left her own party like Tulsi did. She didn't go as far as Tulsi, but I think she was kind of cool, and she was always a pain in the butt to the White House. She and Manchin were the only two folks who halfway held back some of the Biden agenda. So I kind of liked her, So.
Well, and that's why the Democrats ran her out of town.
Yeah.
They
and I kind of thought her dressing like Madonna on the floor of the Senate was kind of cool. Just saying. I mean, I'm not a fashionista, but I am.
I think some of her
I am
fashion.
A member of the. I am a member of the style police. So just saying, she actually she passed my approval. Just saying.
Really?
Yes. Well, of course. I've got the badge. I
thought some of her choices were questionable sometimes.
And that's what made it cute.
Gregory says I had no idea. So he said he had no idea. So there you go. Raskin and Steve Van Zandt. So that was pretty good. Okay. So assuming that tonight turns out the way we think it's going to turn out, Virginia, Trump is up basically 65%.
It's going to be 60, 20, 60, 25.
But can he win the general with numbers like that? With only 60% of Republicans, 65% of Republicans who are voting in these primaries supporting him. Can he win then in the general?
I don't think the traditional groups that have been there for the Democrats are going to be there this time. Now, I live in rural North Carolina, but I can tell you the people I speak to, I'm running for commissioner. So, full disclosure, I am out talking to folks. I spent a lot of time talking to folks around the county here last few days. I just don't think the minority communities who have been traditionally there for them are going to be there. Either they don't show up or they vote against them, because I can tell you this by fact. There's a lot of resentment in the Black community because they see all of these illegal aliens coming over and gaining huge benefits. And the folks I've spoken to directly recognize that they're being used. They have been used. And I'm telling you, Mary, I just don't think a lot of those folks who traditionally would show up to just vote the ticket are going to do that this time. So that's my sense of it. So
Yeah, I hope you're right. We have highly educated populations are still trending for Haley.
what
So,
does that even mean? What does
well,
that
it
even
means
mean?
that college educated voters, 56% of them in New Hampshire, 56% of GOP primary voters who graduated from college cast a ballot for Haley in New Hampshire. She ran about even with Trump on college educated voters in South Carolina. So they're saying you got to watch Falls Church, Virginia, Arlington County, Virginia, Pitkin County, Colorado, Alexandria, Virginia, and Fairfax County,
Alexandria.
Virginia.
Yeah, I used
For
to live in Fairfax.
well, four of those are DC suburbs.
Yeah. Yeah, I left Fairfax because it was going hard left, just saying. So
Yeah, so I'm not sure, but I wonder if Republicans in Fairfax who are still there are they so far Republican because they're so isolated in Fairfax, or do they tend to be a little bit more towards the middle, more towards Haley?
I'm going to go on a limb. I think you're going to see 60-30 in Alexandria. You can check my numbers on this. I don't think and Fairfax County. I don't think they're going to go
Fairfax.
for it. I think they're wrong. I don't think the educated voter goes for Nikki. I think those who may be leaning left, who are consider themselves conservatives, will go for her because she's a neocon. And I think she's shown her neocon colors. Someone called her like the something Barbie, like the warmonger Barbie or something today on Twitter. So not that
I do.
I know I'm endorsing. I'm just saying I saw it.
Right, right. I find it interesting that she won DC. I thought that was hilarious. I don't think that's the message. Like she wanted to take a victory
No.
lap on that, but everybody's like, okay, so you won the swamp. You won a district where it went somewhat over 98% for Biden.
Yeah.
There were fewer than 3,000 votes cast in the Republican primary in DC. So what did you win there?
It's like that scene in Princess Bride. I don't think you know the word that you're using, the meaning of the word you're using.
I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I don't think that word means what you think it is. Like I don't think that victory
So,
means what you think it does.
so does she drop out after this? What do you think? She has no ad buys, by the way, past today. She has no ad buys scheduled.
The Koch brothers PAC dropped out a few days ago. I think she's done. I think she's done. I think she will. I think that the 9/0 issue put a spike in it. So
does she endorse Trump?
No.
Really?
No, I think she's going to be paid by someone to continue to be kind of the thorn in the side. She's going to take up the kind of never Trump guerrilla effort behind the scenes now. I think the lefties need a conservative to be used as a bulwark against Trump, and I think she's going to do it.
Ugh. PT says I made the mistake of leaving Fairfax County for Charles County, Maryland.
Yeah, Charles is worse. No, I have friends who live in Charles. Oh my God, no. That and
where
Montgomery.
is Charles County? Is that the coast?
No, I think it's over just east of the city. I think east of one of the eastern counties.
Okay, because I lived in Montgomery County, which is
Montgomery. No, I have friends in Montgomery too, and I have mutual friends who live in Montgomery. It's like, no, you wouldn't want to be in Montgomery County.
Yeah, it's stupid liberal. It's ridiculous. Now Tax USA says you cannot have much faith in the intelligence of the college grads. We let federal and state governments take 40 to 50% of our income, and most people don't complain.
I agree. So one of the notes, let me just hit that real quick, Mary, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's no link. There has not been a link since Reagan between appropriation of dollars from us, tax dollars, and spending. There's like a break. The government prints so much money. They print double the amount of what they bring in. And so ultimately, to me, taxation at this point is harassment because the government doesn't need our money. They just print it. And they print it with full understanding that they're driving up the debt by trillions now. And think about it. If you look at the numbers here from where it was with Reagan, and Reagan did a little bit of deficit spending, but after him, it just shot up and it's been shooting way up. And Trump didn't put I just want to criticism Trump, which I think is legitimate. He didn't put the brakes on either. So, it's one of those issues which by the way, Mary, and the Trump folks listening, the best way to get control of the federal bureaucracy is defunding it. You guys should have never gone along and allowed them to continue to fund everything. It's like,
Yep.
dude, the guys the money that is spoken, that is power in bureaucracies in Washington is your budget. You cut their budget, they become the little creatures in the sand that can't do anything. And yet you all funded them. So shame on you
Yep.
for not understanding that. So
Well, hopefully Steve Moore will have a discussion with Trump about that.
Steve and I should talk about this. So
yeah. PT says Southern Martin. I don't know
Maryland,
what that
maybe
means.
even Southern Maryland.
Is it Southern County? Charles County is Southern Maryland, south of Prince George's County.
Yeah.
Prince George's.
Southern, I guess it's Eastern. Yeah, Eastern and Southern.
Yeah,
it's kind of on the other side.
Now Tax USA, 100 million citizens pay for 230 million non-tax-paying citizens, and corporations only pay 8% of the budget.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, in North Carolina, you've got almost. Oh, hold on, it flipped. Hang on a second. Almost 50% of the precincts in North Carolina have weighed in. And where are we?
They're calling everything right now. As a matter of fact, 8 o'clock is supposed to be the magic hour.
Right. That's what I'm looking at. Colorado, Minnesota, Utah, California, nothing, because they're all in the West.
Yeah. My friend Mark Robinson won North Carolina.
Here we go. Virginia, 33% in with 65.6 for Trump. North Carolina, 50% in, 73% for Trump. Texas, 52% in with 73% for Trump. Oklahoma's got 2.8% with 22% for Christie.
Christie? Did he go to the buffet there or something and leave a big tip?
Oklahoma?
Well, they do have a lot of buffets in Oklahoma. That's where no, I swear to God, I used to live in southern Kansas, and everybody goes to the buffet on Sundays.
So wait, here comes Oklahoma again. Let me wait for you. Okay, Oklahoma has 2.8% of the precincts voting, with 22.2% in for Christie.
Wow.
He's not even running anymore.
Well, I did notice today, because I took my son in. He's 17. He got to vote in the primary. He's going to be 18 by the general. And I did notice that on our ballot, everybody was still listed. Everybody, DeSantis and all these other folks. So, maybe people had aneurysms and voted for the wrong person. Who knows?
That's crazy. Gregory says low information voters in Oklahoma.
Could be.
So. All right. So we're going to get going here, though, because it's 8 o'clock. Everything's closing up. Next week, just so you know, next Tuesday, the podcast will be live from Montana, because I will be skiing yet again. So
Mary,
we'll be out in Montana again.
You haven't come on my radio show yet. You need to come on my radio show sometime.
Well, you haven't invited me. I'll be happy to come on your radio show.
So
tell everybody where you're going to be. Tell them how to listen to your radio show. Tell them everywhere you're going to be.
So we are on the America Out Loud Talk Radio Network, on the podcast network. We're on iTunes and stuff like that. We actually beat Newt Gingrich in the lineup a couple times.
I like Newty Patootie. I like him.
I do too. I get along with Newt, but I'm just saying, we're the new generation. And I'm old too. I'm getting Social Security soon. So anyway, but and then we have it on Project Sentinel, which is the think tank I run. London Center, we're shutting down. Project Sentinel is a new thing. ProjectSentinel.com. People could go check it out. And then we want you to come on and talk about kind of the state of media at some point, because so much of what we're talking about tonight, I think we need to talk about NPR, about where this is all going to go once we're past this kind of Super Tuesday, and what's going to be the media strategy for the left. I think it'll be a huge thing for us to talk about. So anyway, so people can check it out. Plus, I'm on Newsmax, contributor for better or for worse. So when Mother Newsmax calls, I got to go. So
that's right. So speaking of Newsmax, I will be on Newsmax this weekend on the Wendy Bell Show, which airs Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. I think it's 3:30 Saturday or 4:30 Saturday, but you can check it. So it airs Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon, Monday morning at 6 a.m. And I think it also airs Friday night at 9 o'clock, but it airs several times over the weekend. So I'll be on the Wendy Bell Show. That'll air this coming weekend. Tomorrow in the morning, I will be on KWAM in Memphis on the morning show there, doing a Super Tuesday wrap up starting at 8:35 Eastern time. And I think that's it. So yeah, I think that's it for now, because then I go I go away again. So we'll be on. So very quickly. So when we leave, when I go away, I have two people come who house sit. It's a relative who's been doing it forever, and now he's no longer a kid anymore. But he works from home. I've got a hair in my face. He works from home, and he'll bring a friend with him, right? So they and he takes care of the cats, so it's great. So everything's good. So I always try to buy a lot of food for them and have stuff here because he's doing us a favor, and so. But and thank God they're past the eating, 50 pounds of beef for dinner and that kind of thing. They're past that age. And I went out
No,
and
my sons.
well, he's 17. These kids, they're in their 30s. So, well, late 20s, early 30s. So I went out and I got 2 bags of like the fun size, one Snickers and one Milky Way. They're not even a pound bag. They're not even a 1 pound bag. They're 10 point something. $6.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
$6.
I
I
go
was
to
like,
Ollie's. No, I go to
oh,
Ollie's to buy the bargain stuff now. Don't tell my neighbors when they come over for dinner, just saying, because I put the chocolate out, on the things and everything. But no, I go to Ollie's. I can't afford full price.
we don't have Ollie's. I go to Aldi. I
Oh,
like Aldi. I
Aldi's.
like that. But
I know.
I'm gonna get them Snickers, and that's how sometimes Aldi will have that, but sometimes they don't. I don't
Yeah,
want to make 2 stops, so I just went to the shop right and I just got it. $6. I
yeah,
almost plotzed right there. I'm like, what? Six? And it's not even a pound of candy.
I know.
It's insane. But I love when I check out when you bitch about it to the checker because the checkers are all like, because they hear it all day, right? So, and I love that they still have the big plexiglass up. So you got to talk to them around the side, like, and you got to go like this, or like around the side, because they still got the plexiglass for some stupid reason. And I'm looking at the woman and I'm like, $6 for that bag. She goes, oh, I know. It's ridiculous. I said, this is so dumb. I go, and the prices aren't going down. She goes, nope, this is the new normal. I go,
Right.
Bidenomics. I love to throw Bidenomics out there. I
Yeah.
love to throw, I go, Bidenomics, just in case she's a Democrat, right? Like I kind of like to just stick it in there.
I know. I was watching Jimmy Dore. I like Jimmy Dore. He's a kind of a good. He was talking about how his side doesn't understand that. Oh, that they don't understand the benefit of Bidenomics. Like, no, dude, everything costs more, and people are pissed off. It's like
Right.
you can't change it, and they're not going down. Oh, because his side is always. Oh, I don't understand why people don't love Joe Biden for his successes. He's devastated everything he touches. So I'm
It's
just saying.
ridiculous. Well, because I'm lucky that our ShopRite, the guy who owns our ShopRites in our area, they have 30 to 70% off sections, right? So they
Yeah.
have they have the baked goods, which
Yeah.
are the bagels and all that stuff. 30%. Then they have 2 refrigerated sections, and
Yeah.
that's where the meat is, the prepared food, everything in there. And then they have a section with fruit and vegetables in the back, and it's wrapped like 3, so like one's going bad, but the other 2 are okay. Like you got to
Yeah.
take the bad one, but the other 2 go. So they do that. That's where I go now. I went there yesterday to try to find something to eat that was 50% off. And they make great fried chicken. So I got a thing of fried chicken for 50% off. So it was $4.50, and we're going to get 2 meals out of it, which is great. So you can't
I do
beat
it
it
all
with
the
a
time.
stick,
I do it
right?
all the time.
Can't beat it with a
All the
stick.
time.
I don't care. I'm not proud. But
Yeah,
there's
no, I do too.
nothing,
I get it.
there's nothing in there because now everybody goes there first before they go into the rest of the store. Everybody goes to the 50% off section to see what they can get, as opposed to spending, a
Yeah.
yogurt. I haven't had yogurt in I don't know how long. So I was, because I'm not feeling great. I saw the yogurt. I'm like, oh, maybe that'll feel good on my stomach because my stomach doesn't feel great. So I was looking at the yogurt. This yogurt used to be $1. Like you could get it on sale for $1. $1.69 for one yogurt.
Yeah. No.
$1.69. I'm like, I'm gonna get a yak. I'm gonna start milking it, or a goat or whatever, and I'm just gonna start fermenting my own yogurt because it's gonna be cheaper. Unbelievable.
No, everything is crazy expensive. And I go to Costco. I try to buy things in bulk so they last, but you can't buy everything in bulk. You can't some things you do need fresh because things don't stay fresh forever. But yeah, no, I mean, it's just
Right?
crazy.
It's insane. All right, so let's wrap it up here. Gregory
All right.
says the $20 bill is the new 10. He's true. He's right.
Right.
Scott says, how about remote house sitting? If you put a laptop, yeah, we've got cameras. I can see the cameras, but it's not the same as
I've
having.
got cameras too.
It's not the same as having 2 young men living in your home. And who's going to take care of the cats if I don't
Right.
have that? I've got
And I've
3
got plants.
cats.
And I got plants. You got to water the plants too, you know.
Well, I water the plants once. I don't task them at that. I water the plants once a week. So I'll water them before I leave. I'll water them when I get home. But I've got 3 cats. So there's litter boxes that have to be cleaned
Yeah.
and there's food that has to be put out so the
Oh,
cats
yeah.
can eat. So I can't do the remote
Yep.
thing. So, and besides, people know when I'm gone if I say, oh, I'm going to be doing the show next week from Montana. So then people will know there's nobody in the house. So this way, there's somebody in the house.
Yeah.
So I don't have to worry about it. So thank you so much, Tony Shaffer. Really appreciate you.
fun.
I'd love to come on your show. Thank you for
Yes, thank
coming
you.
on. Really appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Have fun at Mar-a-Lago. I'm not jealous at all.
We'll see. We'll see. I'll know here in a few minutes if we're going or not. I got to get to a party. So.
All right. Well, go to your party. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a fantastic week, and I will see you on Tuesday. Bye-bye now.